New commitment for Notre Dame in the 2027 class. Mike Mickens just keeps landing big time prospects in the secondary. And we got one to talk about in this video today with Blue and Gold's Tyler James. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. I know you're going to like the news, so go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel here if you are new here. And blueandgold.com is your home for all things Notre Dame football and recruiting coverage. I actually got to talk to this player a few days ago about his commitment to the Irish. You can find a full interview with Xavier Hasan, Cardinal Gibbons High School in Raleigh, North Carolina, ranks as the number 46 overall player, number 7 corner, according to the Rivals industry ranking. Then you see all 3 of the rankings there. Rivals has them, inside the top 30 nationally. So you're looking at a guy, Tyler, who has got the potential to end up as a 5-star player in this cycle. So again, Mike Mickens is doing an incredible job. We'll talk more about him and the recruiting win in a moment. But when you pop on the film, Tyler, what do you see?
Yeah, dynamic playmaker. He includes a lot of special teams returns on his junior film here. I think he returned 3 kickoffs and 1 punt for a touchdown this season. So you see a lot of that. You see some of his speed in those clips where he just sort of runs away from guys. He has some pretty good vision, but he also has some pretty good blocking on a number of these too. He's not being asked to do a lot, but when you see him in coverage later on in the film, he can make plays there too. He has 10 interceptions across his sophomore and junior seasons, and 7 as a sophomore, 3 as a junior, and plays a lot of zone. It's something that I've noticed with both him and Ace Alston, the 2 cornerback commits in this class. They play a lot of off zone, so I'm interested to see what the transition is to Notre Dame. Obviously, a team that likes to play a lot of press coverage historically, and Mike Mickens certainly likes to train those guys, but he obviously sees the traits in these guys as someone that can do that. And both of these guys have been guys that have, from my understanding, really excelled on the camp circuit, and you're going to play more press coverage in those circuits than you will in games. Because I mean, if I'm throwing against a Division I cornerback, I'm not trying to throw the ball right away in their direction either. So I think the zone gives those guys a lot of opportunities to make plays on the ball, and Xavier Hasan does that. Good speed, like I said. He'll battle at the point of attack for balls. He'll come up and make plays physically too as a tackler. Seems pretty sound there. So a lot to like about Xavier Hasan, and sort of continuing the high level of cornerback recruiting that we've come to known for Mike Mickens.
Yeah, I talk about this all the time. Like, I know you remember covering the 2020 class when it was like Clarence Lewis and Landon Bartleson. Like, man, what a change!
Seems like a long time ago.
Yeah. And yeah, so tip the cap to Mike Mickens. He just keeps doing an incredible job from like the time he got to Notre Dame, where it was like you're signing high 3 stars and maybe a couple of low 4 stars too. Now the expectation is every DB commit you get is, at least a top 200 player nationally, and at least get a couple guys who are in 5-star contention. And then in the course of the 26 class, you sign Joey O'Brien and Kari Adams, who are 5-star prospects, and Kari Adams the number 1 corner in the Rivals industry ranking, and O'Brien is right there. Rivals own rankings has him as the number 1 safety in the country. It truly is just an incredible run for Mike Mickens. Especially in the 26 class, but over the past few years, he's changed Notre Dame recruiting. Tyler, I'm going to put you on the spot with this one. Like, just watching him stylistically, is there any Notre Dame corners that you can compare him to and just say, like, this is kind of who he plays like? Any comparisons, whether it's physicality, body type, any thoughts there? And even if it's a combination of a couple guys.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the good version of Christian Gray, right? Like Christian Gray has lots of ups and downs, but I think the way when Christian Gray is at his best, he's a very good cornerback, and I think we see a lot of that from Xavier Hasan. So maybe there's some similarities there. No one came to mind immediately. I had to think about that a little bit while you were talking.
Sure.
But yeah, I think he's someone that he's not as long as Christian Gray or Leonard Moore. But I mean, I think he could even be a nickelback if you really wanted him to be. So maybe some more position versatility than those guys have. But I think there's a lot to like there in how he plays the game and sort of the attitude that he plays the game with too.
Yeah. So taking a look at Notre Dame's 2027 class now, and this is, I mean, we're recording this video before Hassan announced it, so he's not on this 2027 commit list page, but the 9th commit, all of them are 4-star prospects except for Sean Kraft, who is the #1 long snapper of the country, but I don't know how you rank a long snapper. He just has a kind of a normal 3-star ranking. But otherwise, it is quite the strong start to the class. Of course, Teddy Gerard, Notre Dame's quarterback commit. Blue and Gold's previously reported that he is considering a reclassification of the 26 cycle. You got your offensive lineman from Pittsburgh Central Catholic, James Halter. He was a big time catch for Notre Dame. Ace Alston committed to Notre Dame last week. Those two guys are fairly similar in their games, even size wise, with them both being 5'11" and technicians at the cornerback spot. Khalil Terry, a safety, a commit for Notre Dame. Amari Irvin, and Ellis McGaskin, a couple linebackers for the Irish, and then Richie Flanagan, a 4-star 2A lineman, will come to Notre Dame as a defensive lineman. Of course, his father, Jim Flanagan, was a defensive lineman for Notre Dame a couple decades ago and played on some pretty good teams for the Irish, and then played for the Chicago Bears in the NFL. So, yeah, lot to like early in this 27 class, Tyler. It's like usually early for the Irish in a recruiting cycles when they get those guys that are just like they really want to be at Notre Dame and they want to end their recruitments early to be on that commit list and help build it. And it's the #6 class right now. It's very early to be talking about 2027 team rankings, but the #6 class right now. And it looks like it's got all the makings for another big time class. And, we'll see, who they're able to bring in for that junior day. Usually Notre Dame will have an end of January junior day that coincides with like a hockey home game and, spring practices and, official visits. Like it seems like Notre Dame's setting themselves up for another really good run in the 27 cycle.
Yeah, and last offseason, obviously, for a number of reasons, a big part of being Chad Bowden leaving, like they had a bit of a lull between like January and then April in terms of getting commitments. My guess, and maybe I'm curious what you think, it's probably not going to happen this year. Like they're probably going to be continuously adding to this class through this winter with the momentum that they have on the recruiting trail, regardless of not playing in the playoff. And now they have even more time to invest in talking to these kids when they're not playing in the playoff. So I think the end result could be similar in terms of Notre Dame finishing as a top 5 class, but I think it might even build faster in this cycle just by the way things are playing out. And obviously we're talking about Notre Dame picking up commitments in December, and I would imagine that will continue early throughout the winter as well. What do you think?
No disagreement from me there. Yeah, I think that Notre Dame's kind of setting the standard. Look, I don't want to get too like reactionary. We're like Notre Dame from 23 to 25 was like in the 10 to 12 range. And it's like now you signed the #2 class. It just feels like top 5 class is more of the goal than like a top 10 class, or at least how we would look at it. I don't know if Marcus Freeman's sitting around saying we need a top 10 or top 5 class. Like he's not doing that. But for me, like my expectation in 27 is, are you in the top 5? And the rankings aren't the be all end all, but they're usually a pretty good data point to look at how good a recruiting class is. But yeah, that is the news. Xavier Hasan, Notre Dame's 3rd defensive back commit. When I actually interviewed Hassan, I asked him like, hey, was any reason of why you wanted to commit now to jump on your spot? And he said, I didn't even know Ace also was committing to Notre Dame. So that was not a consideration. Like it was just right for him. And like I had been reporting about him at Blue and Gold in the past few weeks about how he was kind of nearing a decision, and Notre Dame did get this one done. So didn't really talk about the recruitment. He was pretty sure he was a pot of gold kid for Notre Dame, so they offered him back in March, and he had
he was out here for Irish Invasion too, I think, right?
He was for Irish Invasion. So he visited. That was his first time in South Bend, and then was back for the Texas A&M game. Believe that Notre Dame really took a strong lead for him at that point. And then when you returned for the Navy game, it's like, oh, you're coming from Raleigh, North Carolina, 2 times in the fall to South Bend. That's a pretty big indicator that he was leaning towards the Irish. Other offers: Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio State, Georgia, Florida, Miami, Penn State. I mean, he big time kid from all aspects. So statistically, as Tyler talked about, the offer list, the rankings across the board, a big get for the Fighting Irish. Like I said earlier in the video, I know you like this news, so go ahead and hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel, go to blueandgold.com for more content about this commitment. And as always, folks, we will catch you next time.